morning, West Coast. Why can't I can never do this right? Good morning, West Coast. Good afternoon, East Coast. Hello to everybody in between and outside. Hope you're all having a great day. It's Sunday again. Weren't we just here? Feels like the days just kind of blend together now. Who do we have here? We've got Ken, Tracy, Melody, Candy, Joyce, Donna, Judy, Cindy, Mary, Barbara, Benita, Jackie. All of y'all are here so far, and I know many more are going to join us today. So thank you guys for being here. So Terry's here. Donna's here. Did I say Donna already? Donna Armstrong. Donna Armstrong, to be a little more specific. Hope everybody's having a great day and enjoying your morning, afternoon, and or evening. Loki is here, and Loki, I have found out, their name is Lo. They are from South Africa. They sent me a lovely email, and we have been talking back and forth. So thank you, Lo, for sending me such a wonderful email. I really do appreciate it. And I checked out some of the things that you make, and they're kind of amazing, if you ask me. So that's pretty awesome. Tiffany's here. Hello. Zandra's here. Hello. Who else? Agnes? Is that right? Agnes. Carr. I know Carr. I can say that part. Sorry if I butchered your name. I apologize. Auntie Ella's here. Karen is here. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's Sunday again. I just can't believe that we are already back at Sunday. It feels like the week just flew by, which is great because it's always important. Tracy's here, and she is going to be binding, putting on. I have 3 bindings to put on, so this is the perfect timing to chat with you. Makes the process bearable. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad about that. Love on Low. Hello, everybody. I've got y'all up on my TV and on my iPad, so if you see me looking past the camera, that's what's happening. Yeah, it's Sunday. Sunday, we're going to do a little bit of sewing today. I have an experiment. I don't know if this is going to work. This may be an epic failure, and we're going to have to, like, in the middle of the live stream, change what we're doing. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. First of all, I did finish, if y'all have watched for a while now, many months ago, I was working on some FPP, foundation paper piecing, for a project that I've had in my brain a very long time. That is a Sleepy Fox quilt, and I finally finished it. So I'm not going to show it today. It is going to be coming in my monthly recap video. So make sure you're watching that monthly recap video when it comes out on July 1st, which, how are we already almost to July? But July 1st, I'll be putting out that video. So be on the lookout because I do show off the finished quilt top in that one, and I can't wait to show it to you. Last week, first of all, before I get to last week, this is what I had to do. This is what I had to do to figure out how to make this quilt. I had to go through and put it onto some what is this called? Graph paper. I had to figure out and put it on some graph paper. Graph paper? Graph paper. I'm going to go with that. To figure out how I was going to put this whole quilt together, and I finally figured it out. I learned some things while doing this process. But I think it came out really, really well. And I highlighted the blocks as I finished them. So that's why the whole thing's orange now, is because I was actually going through and highlighting them. So that's why that looks like that. Last weekend, we cut the live short because I had to go run and go visit with my quilter. We spent about 30 to 45 minutes talking about the color vortex. That's the pattern, FPP pattern from Legit Kits. They put that out there, or if you signed up for it, you know what I'm talking about. My brain is just, I need more coffee. That's very apparent. I need some more coffee today. That is the Legit Kids block of the month. And I have a finished quilt since they were kind enough to let me test it out. And so I have taken it over to my quilter. We spent 45 minutes talking about how we wanted to execute it, what we wanted it to look like, all the things. So there's a lot going on there. I'm so excited to see what this looks like when it is all said and done. My quilter is going to do a fabulous job on it, and I cannot wait for her to work on it and show all of you what she does for it, because it's going to be stunning. It's going to be stunning. It is going to be amazing. So I can't wait. Oh, Auntie L. Oh, that makes me so jealous. Auntie L says, I got a scrap bag from So Yeah, and it was 99% Tula. Ugh. I have started watching So Yeah a lot more. I lurk. I have not said anything in the chat, but I'm watching. I'm watching because every now and again they put some Tula up, and I'm like that. But I have yet to buy from them. So, yep. Lowe says experiments make you grow. Mine mostly end up in happy accidents. When I was a lighting designer, that happened more frequently than not. And one specific memory that I can bring about that, we did a show, and I can't remember the name of it, but the premise behind the show was it was like a traveling group of actors, and it was like a low quality product. Oh, 10 Nights in a Bar Room. That's what it was. 10 Nights in a Bar Room. And it's supposed to be intended as a low value production. Like the actors were like not that great quality in the show, in the theory of the show. And there was one happy accident that happened. The main drape was supposed to open, revealing not the whole stage, but just part of it, because there were people on either side pulling a waterscape, so the waves would go back and forth like this. And in tech rehearsal, the person working the main drape got confused on their marks, and so they accidentally pulled it too far open, and the actors were like looking at them, they were like trying to pull the curtain closed, and it was really funny. And the director burst into laughter. He was one of my favorite directors to work with. He burst into laughter, and like it was so incredibly funny. And the whole show was supposed to be funny anyways. And so when it was time for notes that night, the director turned to the tech crew and the actors and was like, we're keeping that. We're going to keep that every night. And it was one of the funniest gags in the entire show, and it was great. It was great. Loved it. Happy accidents happen a lot. Let's see. Cindy says, thank you for working with Tula Pink fabric. I just purchased 5 yards of her fabric, and I love the bright colors. Maybe too pretty to cut into. There's a reason I don't show y'all the good fabric in my closet, because there's literally, Becca and Tiffany have seen it. There's literally a shelf full of Tula in my closet, and it's like a big shelf too, full of Tula that I love, so it can be hard. Jackie says, which online quilt shop do you think has the best prices on fabrics? That is a great question. I like to shop small whenever I can. So I tend to my first go-to is usually Crimson Tate. I usually go to Crimson Tate because I want to support her business, I want to support her small business, and I want to show my love and support for good business. So that's usually the first place I go to. The next places that I look at are going to be either Hancock's of Paducah, because literally they have like every single fabric out there, ever. And then I'll also look at Fat Quarter Shop. Is there any other ones? Those are usually my first like go-tos. Anything after that, I'll be searching for places. Crimson Tate has full price, but again, I'm supporting a small business, so I'm okay with that, you know? That's my go-to most of the time. So Be It Quilts, hello. Is that Fallon? Did I get that right? Kathleen is here. Now that's a cool director. It certainly could have gone a very different direction. A lot of times I find that directors, for the most part, when I was working in theater, most directors, when happy accidents like that would happen, they would go with it. They would go with it. They would be cool with it. They would run with it, and they would see the value that it adds. Doreen is here. Hello. They would add the value that it adds into it. So a lot of my directors that I worked with were really good about that. All right, I've sat here for a whole 10 minutes talking about nothing about what we're doing today. So maybe I should actually talk about what we're doing today. What we're going to be doing today. Where did I go Irish or Scottish there? I don't know. So today, I have my serger. Let me go and I'll do... See, you can see my serger right here. Oh, that camera's frozen. Why is that camera frozen? I don't know why that camera is frozen. That's very strange. Oh, maybe it's catching up. Anyways, I have my serger here. I have my serger here because I have postcards. I have quilted postcards, and I forgot to put the link into that camera is frozen, and I have no idea why. That is so weird. Anyways, I was going to show you all the air threading, but apparently that camera may be frozen, so we'll have to see. Anyways, I have postcards. I have a whole stack of postcards that I have worked on, and it is now time to go around the edge. Now, in previous videos, I've shown how to do this. There's a tutorial on my channel for how to put together fabric postcards. Super easy, super amazing. But I want to try something different today, because the last step of a postcard is going around the edge with a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine and doing that zigzag. I have a serger. Why don't we try it on the serger and see what happens? This is completely an experiment. This may go horribly wrong. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I don't know what's gonna happen, so we're gonna have to see. First of all, though, I need to thread my machine, because I have not threaded my machine. I have all of my threads. I have white thread, black thread, and then one of the things that my quilt store told me about, Sew It Up Bernina, shout out to them. One of the things that I learned about was when I bought my serger, the person who trained me said it's probably a good idea to have thread colors that match your machine. So on my machine, there's actually little spots of color that show me the thread path for how it goes. They said to buy, if I could afford it, to buy some colored thread so that way it matches that pathway, and I can see, like, if I'm looking at a project and it's not doing what I want it to do, I can see exactly which one of those pathways is messing up. I thought it was a great idea. So I bought all of those, and so if I want to add some color to it, I can. For now, though, I'm going to be working on threading the machine, because that's the first step that we have, is threading the machine. So I'm going to do that, and we're all going to talk amongst ourselves as we are doing that. So I've got to follow the yellow path for this one. Go through here. It's been a hot minute since I have worked on threading this machine, so it might take me half a second to thread it. Although it won't take me as long as it used to whenever I was on my old machine. Because my old machine, oh goodness me, it would take me forever to do it on my old machine. Okay, that's what I needed to do. You go one way on the sewing machine and you go another way on the serger. If you own a Bernina and you have the automatic threader, you know that you go one certain way when you're on the sewing machine, and I almost knocked over my water there. Good job, Ian. But there's a certain way but the serger actually goes the opposite way. So I get a little confused sometimes, because I'm like, oh right, this isn't my sewing machine where I go behind. When I'm on my sewing machine, you bring it down, you wrap it behind, and bring it across. On this one, you bring it in front and around, and yeah. So that's, sometimes I get a little confused, because I'm like, wait, which machine am I on? Candy says most places prices are about the same. Honestly, that's what I usually find, is a lot of places the prices are about the same. I have been able to find deals. I bought Tula Pink's newest quilt kit for Everglow, and I ended up finding it on the Quilt in a Day website for 25% off what I would find at other places. So it really, if you put in the research, a lot of times you can find deals. It just depends, though. It really just depends. There we go. So that took me half the time it normally would if I was on my old serger. I still have my old serger. It's sitting over off camera, and I don't know what to do with it, to be honest, because it's an antique machine. Not antique, but like, I think it's from the 70s or 80s, if I remember correctly. I need to go back and look and see where it's actually from. But it's got some value to it in nostalgia. And I don't want to just chunk it in the trash. I would love to find a good home for it where it can be appreciated, although it doesn't really, it works, but not great. It really needs some pricey repairs, and I just can't afford that right now, so. Tiffany is gonna go take a nap, so she's gonna be here, but she's gonna go take a nap. Are you gonna go live later today? Tiffany usually goes live on Sundays. Hey MJ, 6 p.m. Hey Anna, Central Standard Time, if I remember correctly. The Confident Quilter is here. Hello, Gladys. Fallon says, I have found that there isn't one shop to go to for great deals. You have to shop around. That's what I have found as well. Okay, is this gonna, are you gonna catch up, camera? Hello? I think my camera's frozen. Shoot, and I have a really good shot for y'all, and it was gonna be amazing, and instead I have a frozen camera right now. Dang. I was gonna show you the whole air threading process again, and you know, be all technical, and my camera. Okay, to be honest, today's show almost didn't happen. I say show, like this is an actual TV show or something, but today's broadcast live stream almost didn't happen because Friday night I'm chatting with everybody in Becca's live, and all of a sudden my computer screen goes blank, and I am like, what is happening? Why basically. And I could, I started troubleshooting it and trying to figure out what's going on, and I soon realized that my power brick is dead. It is not working at all. My computer is a 2013. It is 10 years old, and it's dead. It's just not working at all. And see, that was the air threading right there. So I wish my camera would have been able to pick that up for you, but here we are. Anyways, so my power brick was dead. I am like, great. I had been thinking about replacing my computer, but I had been trying to put it off because I don't want to spend that money right now. There's a couple of things that I'm like wanting to watch the money for. And so I was like, no, I don't want to, this is actually back in like March when I was thinking about buying a new computer. So I was like, no, I don't want to buy a new computer right now. And so I was trying not to, basically. And anywho, so I went on Amazon, making a really boring story. I went on Amazon, I found a new power brick for like 20 bucks. And I bought it, hoping that it would work. I didn't know if it would. I didn't even know if it was like maybe the computer itself just like kaput. Thankfully, everything did work. It connected, it charged, it's fine. But I'm gonna be limping along on this one until I'm gonna have to buy the computer sooner rather than later, unfortunately. Oh, well. Let's see here. So Terry says, can you restart it, Ian? Maybe. Where's my cord? There's my cord. Let me see. I'm going to unplug this camera and plug it back in, and we'll see if maybe that works. I'm going to have to do another, I'll have to change thread again at some point. So whenever that happens, I will, we'll try it again then. Mary B says, hi all, first time watching live. Hello, Mary, welcome. Tiffany is going to go live today, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Anna says, I'm starting a computer fund and mine is only 4 years old. I'm planning on building a desktop though, so I can do piece by piece to help the budget. That is a good idea. I want to get a laptop because I want to replace my laptop, and then I'm going to turn this laptop into my main computer, get a dock and a screen and all that kind of stuff for it. Tech is no fun. Ain't that the truth, Fallon? All right, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to try this. The needles go in. I'm hand cranking right now because I just want to see if it will work. And so far it is. I do want to adjust. I'm going to adjust spacing because it keeps going into the same spot. I want to adjust. Oh, I just want to adjust some spacing a little bit. Now let's see if it'll, there, that's a little better. All right, so let's run it and see what happens. So I'm working on, this is a Halloween one. I have black thread in my machine right now because black works well with Halloween. I run them whenever I'm working with postcards and you're doing that final edge around the edge. You always put the card fabric side down, so face down, paper side up, because the feed dogs will latch onto the fabric and be able to move it. If you try and just do the paper, sometimes those feed dogs slip on the paper and they don't grab like they should. NTL says, my laptop is from 2013 as well. This laptop would be fine. To be 100% honest with you, this laptop would be fine if I didn't want to do live streaming. If I didn't want to do live streaming and all the technical things, video editing, all the things that I do, it would be fine. But unfortunately, because I want to do all those things, it's not so great for that. All right, so this is the experiment. And it's good, except okay, let's try this. So what I just did is I made a quick adjustment. There is I'll show it to you in a minute once I get around. What was happening was, as I was sewing my loops, because remember I'm working with a serger, so the loops going around were actually too big. They're hanging off the side, and I really want something that's flush with the side of my machine, or the side of my card. And what I did is there's a little option to pull back where it makes the loop. So I retracted that. Let's see if this will bring it in a little bit. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. Let me pull it out and I'll show you what I got. Yeah, that's much, much better. Although I think I'm going to, this is all an experiment. We are just experimenting today. All right, so here is what we have, whoops, at the top. I'm gonna block my face so it tries and focus. There we go. Do you see how that first part right over here has those big loops on it? I don't want those big loops. I want them flush up against the side of the postcard. So I've gone in and I've retracted the little setting. There's a little finger that sticks out, and if you retract that in, it will give you a cleaner edge. Now, is it perfect? No. But is it better? Yes. So I like that better. I'm going to use that. I'm going to make a couple more adjustments. I want to shrink down my stitch length. I'm going to say to 2.0. That looks a lot better though. I'm a lot happier with that. So let's go around the next side and see what we get there. So I'm going to put it into the machine. Katie's here. Hey, Katie Crafts. Donna Stevenson says, hey, Ian and everyone else. I'm on my way to my sister-in-law's house so my husband can teach our niece how to inspect her beehive. Ooh, that's fun. I am hand sewing while visiting with you wonderful peeps. Excellent. So I dropped my stitch length down to 2.0. We're going to take a look at it here in a second and see what it looks like. I'm very happy with this because when I have tried to sew thicker items with the serger in the past, I wasn't very successful with it. And this, I dropped my presser foot pressure all the way down to 1. So it is at the least amount of pressure that you can have on the presser foot. Whoops. Gonna do a little inspection. And I'm liking how this is turning out. I'm liking this a lot better. There's gonna be some hanging threads for a minute, but that's not a big deal. We'll trim those off. So again, here's, let's see, this was the top. This is what we did across the top. Here's what it looks like now. I'm a lot happier with that. Although I still think I want to drop down my stitch length just a hair more. So I'm going to go down to 1.5 now and see what that gives me. It's all about the experimentation, right? There we go. Ooh. Nope, that didn't. I guess we're keeping it at 2. Yep, we're gonna keep it at 2 because I just lost the threads. And I guess 2 is gonna be it because it did not like going down to that, and that's okay. Sometimes you just gotta let your machine tell you what it likes and what it doesn't like, because it came unthreaded. So I'm going to thread it back really quick. Oops, let's go in there. And it was my top thread that came unthreaded. And actually, you know what? Both of my top threads came unthreaded. How very interesting. So it did not like that. We are going to stick with 2.0. This is the yellow side. I'm going to put it through the yellow side there. I told you this is going to be an experimentation day. Hope this content doesn't bore you. All right. And then we go to the green side, and we are going to loop it there, bring it down, lock it into place. There we go. All righty. I think we are hopefully back in business now. That's my hope, at least. Yeah, I lost some threads on that one. I can see exactly where I lost certain threads. So I'm gonna just try and start it again at the beginning. It may hate me a little bit, so we'll see. S. Taylor is here. Hello, S. Taylor. Hope you're doing well today. Oh, helps if I put the presser foot down. Yeah, it likes that 2.0. It doesn't want to go any more than that, and that's fine. I'm not gonna force my machine to do something it does not want to do, right? Like, I'm gonna listen to my machine, and I'm gonna let it tell me what it wants to do. And the best thing is, this is postcards. They do not need to be perfect. This is just for fun, and the person receiving them is, in my experience, the person receiving them loves whatever I send in their direction. So, totally cool. Totally cool. I'm gonna let the machine tell me what it wants to do and listen to it when it says, no, I don't want to do that. Be like, sounds good to me. You know? You know what I mean? Come on. There we go. Fallon, yes, you do. You do need to make some postcards. They are fun. They are easy. I'm so glad that I learned how to make them from Sarah Ruiz. Go check her out on Instagram. I linked to her. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but I do link to her social media in my postcards video if you want to go learn how to make postcards. I link to her social media over there. All right, so there we go. So there's our first one. That is what it looks like. See, that edge is just perfect. So I'm learning that I can make postcards on my serger instead of doing it on my sewing machine. I love my sewing machine a lot, but it usually works. For me, my sewing machine is really good and it works really well. But it can cause weird issues. Like sometimes if I put the stitch length too short, it can actually like perforate the page on the back, the paper on the back. And almost like, you know, the perforated perforations on tickets where it just peels out. Sometimes your backing can do that. So I like this much better and I'm a lot happier with this. Tracy says, can we send you our address and you can pick one random and we can get a surprise in the mail other than a bill? Maybe I'll think about that. MJ says, do you need to put them in a transparent envelope to mail them? I have not put them in a clear plastic envelope. I usually mail mine just like this. I have not had one get torn up in the mail. Does that mean that it won't get torn up in the mail? No, it could easily get torn up in the mail. But if I send it like this, it usually does just fine, and I have not had a problem, and I can use a regular postage stamp to make that happen. So I have not had a problem with it, but if you want to super protect it, absolutely put it in a plastic sleeve of some kind, envelope, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely do that. Just make sure you put the stamp on the outside so that way they can cancel it. Karen says, hello everyone, sorry I'm late. No need to apologize. No need to apologize at all. Welcome, glad you're here. Annie, says, hello Ian, enjoying a sunny Northwest Oregon today. Working this week on a few quilts and the backings. Last week I learned a new word, flange. I love the way it looks on binding and we'll try this. It looks really good. My Name in the Rose quilt, I actually have some flange on that quilt and it looks so good. I really like how that turned out, so yes. All the rest of these, I think I want to do white on that. I do think I can do a black on these two. So I'm going to keep my black thread in and I'm going to work on two more. Agnes, you're welcome. Like I said, please give Sarah Ruiz all the credit. She taught me everything that I know. I think it's important on YouTube. On YouTube, it's hard to come up with an original idea because like a lot of the ideas have already been done and it's just like changing and modifying those ideas, right? So I think it's important. I don't want to take credit for the postcards because it was Sarah Ruiz who taught me. So I always want to try and make sure to let everybody know that I did not come up with this idea. This is not my own design. This is not my own thing. But Sarah Ruiz is pretty awesome, and she taught me how to do it. And so I always try to give her credit for teaching me, so that way I don't end up like shorting her the credit. Does that make sense? Lowe says postcards are great scrap busters. Yes, they are. They're great for scrap busting. Ken says, not boring, teaching me what to do or what not to do. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. To me, that's really important. Of, you know, kind of watching somebody go through the experimentation process so that way I know what I can or cannot do. Susie K says, hi Ian, just got here. Postcards, how fun. There isn't anything that isn't on YouTube. That is very true. Yeah, see, that works. 2.0 is where it's at for me. My machine may be different than your machine, so if you have a serger and want to use it, sorry, I keep scratching my nose. 2.0 works for me, however, your machine may work better on a different setting. I'm gonna push my luck. I'm gonna drop it down to 1.7. Let's see what happens. Isn't there that TV show, Press Your Luck? That seemed to work. It's not too different than the 2.0, but I think I'm gonna keep it there. We're gonna see if it'll stay there. So I've dropped it down to 1.7 and it seems to have worked just fine. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So this is this is really great for like mass producing. So as you can see, I had this whole stack of postcards that I have made over the past few months. And it always takes a long time on my sewing machine. Am I complaining about that? No. But it does take a while for my sewing machine to do it. And on here, since I'm, using a serger, it's just like popping it out and I'm done, right? So I like that a lot. And I'm taking a little bit longer because I'm talking with y'all, but if I was, doing this on my own, I can whip out a postcard or at least the edging around the postcard, I can whip that out really quickly and be done with it, So, it's pretty awesome. I do have my little bucket. I don't have the bucket attached today because I'm not cutting, but I do have the little bucket over here to catch all of my trimmings that are coming off as I'm working on them. And I should probably do something like, tie them up, or knot them, or I don't know what, but I'm not today, so, and I'm not really worried about it. All right, here's our next one. See how quickly that worked? Like it was super fast and it just worked. Look at that. We've already got 2 done and I've been talking this whole time too. So let's make another one. Agnes says, we understand, Ian. However, you show us how to and make mistakes as a part of the journey, which we're all on. Absolutely. Mistakes are just as important. Patty C says a good way to end the week and get ready for Monday. Absolutely. I agree. Just saying. Little biased. Karen says, and what are you sewing the fabric to, Ian? Sorry, it was a little late and I missed the start. No worries, Karen. So these are fabric postcards. I have taught how to make fabric postcards on my channel before. If you want to go check out that video, I didn't link it down below, but if you just look for postcard, if you type in on my channel postcards, you'll see a video where I teach how to make this. Basically, you've got your fabric up top. You then have, you sew it kind of like you do a regular quilt. You quilt it like a regular quilt, basically, with batting. And then there is a thick interfacing that you adhere to, and on the back you put a piece of paper. What size needle are you using? I'm still using the one that came from the machine, with the machine, and it is the 8012, I believe. 8012 needle. Fray check, absolutely. You can absolutely use fray check on these. That would be a great thing to have. Mine's over in the cabinet, so I won't use it for this. I won't be using it at this moment, but it is there. Katrina says, this is a lot better than ordering groceries. I need to do that. I need to do that. Ordering groceries, yay. And the cool thing with the serger, I could put any color I wanted to. Like if I had enough of the spools, I can use regular spools on the top of my machine, but I don't have 4 of the same color, basically. See how easy that is? Can you mail the postcards? Yes, you can, fair lady. Lady Fair, excuse me. Yes, you can. You can mail these postcards. That's the best part, is you can throw them in the mail. They don't need any extra postage, just a regular postage stamp will get these to your recipient. That was a little less clean this time, and I don't know why it's a little different, but it is. But yeah, you can put these in the mail. Some people put them in a regular envelope to keep them clean and from getting torn up in the mail. That's perfectly fine. You can absolutely do that. Some people, that looks better. I like that. Oh, I missed the corner here. Oh, well. Yeah, some people will put them in envelopes and mail them. Other people will use clear plastic mailers. You can do that too. It's really whatever your preference is. I literally will just write something on them and then throw a stamp on it and throw it in the mail. And so far, nothing's happened. That doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but so far, it has been perfectly fine and I've had no issue. What brand of thread are you using? This is Maxi Lock. This is Maxi Lock, intended for, oops, focus. Intended for serging machines or overlockers. You can use all sorts of fun threads in loopers, absolutely. Absolutely, you can. You could use variegated, you could use all the different kinds. Well, hello. Long time no see. How are you? What have you been up to? I believe that is Mark, if I remember correctly. Been so long, I forgot your name. Whoops. Fallon was mailed one without a cover, and it got to me in great condition. The most that I have seen, if you don't use any type of protection on them, is that they get a little dirty, like a little dusty, because those facilities, you know, they've got a lot of dust and dirt and grime in them. So that's what I've seen the most, is like it gets a little grimy, a little dusty. There we go, there's our next one. Look at that. Look how cool that looks. I love using the serger to do that on the edge. I think that really works. What do you use on the back of the postcard? On the back of the postcard is a piece of 65-pound cardstock. Yep, so that's what that is. Okay, good. I did get it right, Mark. Awesome. I'm wondering what it would look like with different thread colors. That is a good question. Should we try it? I think we should. I should have done it on one of those, but that's okay. This one has blue, yellow. Let's do a blue, yellow, and white, shall we? So I'm going to go ahead and trim all of my threads because I'm going to change threads now. So I'm going to change out all my threads. I've used woolly nylon, cotton crochet thread, metallics. Don't be afraid to change the tension. Absolutely. Trust me, on my old machine, I change the tension all the time. This one, thankfully, it doesn't need as much tension changing because it's, for the most part, it does a lot better, I will say. Hey, Teresa, welcome. Teresa, are you going live today? I'm sure everybody in the chat wants to know. Blue, yellow, and purple. I have blue, yellow, but I don't have any purple. Oh, this one has red. Oh, I can do, yeah, I can. But I'm trying to figure out which thread do I want where. That's going to be the question. Which thread do I want to put where? I'm just going to put these in random places, and we're just going to find out. Katrina says, I have purple. I'd be waiting here a long time for that purple. Put this through the yellow side. Oops. So much easier to hook it the other direction. I hate that it asked me to do it this way, but there we go. Forgot to open my foot. This is one of the cool things about this machine is the foot actually like swings out to make it easier to grab the threads or get them where they need to be. So I love my machine. It is such an improvement on what I was using. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. There we go. Okay, there's the white. Let's do the yellow. I'm going to put the blue there, I think. Yep. So let's load the yellow in. Oops. Teresa is going live today. Make sure to check her out. She usually goes live 4 p.m. Central Standard Time? Yes? Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. She'll tell us what time it is Pacific, and I'll be able to tell you from there. Rochelle is here, and Rochelle changed her profile picture, so it threw me off the first couple of times I saw it, because I was like, wait, is that the same one? And the answer is yes, it is the same one. Ooh, Math Geek's not here. I wonder if Heather is Heather in labor? Shelley says there are some good older books on creative surging from the 1980s and 1990s. I bet my library might have some. I should check them out. Okay, we're going to try this again. I don't know if this is going to work. But we're going to bring... Nope, it is still stuck on the original picture. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. I was hoping that unplugging the camera would bring it back, but it's just, it's frozen. It is absolutely frozen. So, sucks. Patty says, hello, everyone. There is a 90 for watching, and oh, thank you very much for that, Patty. I appreciate that. Teresa says, when Ian's done with his live around 1:15 Pacific Standard Time, so that's 1:15, 2:15, 3:15, that's 3:15 Central Standard Time. Rochelle says, I changed the purple hair, but miss it, so I may return to it. Excellent. I was going to show y'all the air threading, but apparently it's just not going to happen today. Sorry, guys. I really wanted to show that to y'all today, but apparently that's just a no-go for today. I guess that new computer is more needed than I thought, unfortunately. Love air threading. God, it makes it so much easier. So much easier. If you are considering a machine with air threading and without, just do yourself the favor and go for it. It makes it so much easier. So much easier. All right, so I have a white, yellow, green. I need to go back and learn my colors again. White, yellow, blue, red. My white and my yellow are in my upper, in the needles, and then my blue and my red are in the lower loopers. So let's check it out and see what it looks like. I'm excited to try this. Oh, helps if I put the presser foot down. Oh, well, that's interesting. My yellow just stopped working for whatever reason. It still ended up attaching and everything's fine, but for some reason the yellow was just like, nope, not working. So here's what it looked like. So you can see the exact moment the yellow got snagged for whatever reason. So I'm gonna check it really quick and make sure, oops, well, that was good. Wondering if it got caught somewhere. Don't mind me, just exploring my machine for a second. Come on. My yellow is stuck somewhere. Oh. That's good to know. There's a little safety feature that I can't move the needle out or the foot out when the needles are down. So that's good to know. It looks like somehow my yellow got like double looped. I don't know how, but it did. So I'm gonna do a little trim here and see if I can get it uncaught. You know, I'm still learning about this machine. And the thing, there we go. Okay, I got it unstuck. So I think we are good. I think we are back in business. You know, it's all about experimentation. All right, that all pulls. So we are good to go again. Sergers are magic. They seem to be able to unthread a needle and keep sewing without breaking the thread. It's apparently what happened here. And I do this a lot. You got to be careful. See how my corner, it ended up not catching? I do that frequently. I did it on the sewing machine and on any time. So it happens. I don't know how I do it. It just happens. That was the first corner that went in, so that's why, I don't know why, it just does that. And it's frustrating, but it is what it is. So I could probably put like a little bit of fray check where that spot was on where my yellow just stopped working. Oh, I gotta put my guide back in place. I'm using a guide today. I'm using the guide today to make sure that I am getting, oh, did it come unthreaded? Oh, it sure did. It sure did. Let me rethread my yellow. because otherwise it's not going to work the way I want it to. Oops. Well, how did you do that, sir? Ma'am. Ma'am, how did you do that? It somehow threaded itself, the white thread somehow threaded itself not only through the left one, but it totally missed getting the yellow thread and somehow managed to also thread the right needle with the white thread. My yellow thread said, whee, and flew away. And somehow it managed to thread the white thread through that needle as well. That's kind of funny. I may have to unthread the white thread. Come on. There it goes. That's funny. That's really kind of funny. It was like, no, I want to go over here and do my own thing. No. Do what I tell you to do. Sergers are magical, though. They come up with some of the most interesting problems I've ever seen. I'm like, how did you do that? How did you do that? I don't know. Rochelle says, I hate it when the yellow gets stuck somewhere. I'm gonna keep going over that. Katrina says, yesterday my son was helping someone with a camera for their laptop. Apple told her what to buy, and she did. He was tasked with setting it up and lessons, and it wouldn't work at all. That sucks. I'm sorry. Tracy says, woohoo, binding number 1 complete. Goes faster with friends. Absolutely. Yeah, Sue, it's 65-pound cardstock. That is what I use. That is what I use. And it works well for me. I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down. I'm going to put my foot down. And I'm going to hand crank a couple of times just to make sure that everything is back to normal and that we are good. I don't feel any catching. I'm just hand cranking a few times, more than a few, but I just want to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. It feels like it is. I'm going to go slow. Yeah, we're back in business. Cannot wait to oh, interesting. I don't know what's happening here. It's giving me some weird loops, but whatever. It's a postcard. It doesn't really matter. I cannot wait to use this for the first time when it's time to work on my first quilt. Like, I can't wait to work on my first quilt with it and get the binding put on, because I always use the binding, or I use the serger to bind the edge of my quilts, so that way as I'm putting together the binding, it makes it a lot easier to put that binding on. Oof. My tension is all over the place. I'm gonna unthread my lower loopers because the tension seems to be really kind of off for some reason. So I'm going to cut those really quick. I'm going to grab, pull these out. All right, there we go. You can use a lot of thread with sergers. You can end up using a lot of thread. But thankfully, for me, the thread is fairly inexpensive. So I ended up buying all of this thread at one. The white I already had, but the black and the 4 colors I ended up purchasing when I got this serger specifically, and it ends up it was not a lot for me to purchase all of that. It was very inexpensive for me, and so I ended up buying it all at one time. All right, let's try that, see what happens. Absolutely, yeah. Great way to use the decorative stitches on your machine, absolutely. I don't know what's happening with my lower loopers, but it's fine. Again, these are just postcards. They don't have to be anything too crazy. And I could play with the tension if I wanted to. I could play with the tension all I wanted to, and until I get it perfect. But again, these are postcards. I don't need them to be perfect. The intention is to hold everything together, which that's what it's doing. You know, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Teresa says, getting ready to thunder and rain. Oh, goodness. We have not. There were supposed to be thunderstorms here yesterday, and we did not get any. There's a chance for it again today, and so far I don't even see a single cloud outside right now, so. Make sure that your thread is firmly in the discs. I think I'm going to unthread the whole machine and change anyways, because I think the rest of these, I want them to be in. Oh, no, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to rethread. But anyways, here's this postcard. So you can see I have the different colors on the borders and everything. So I'm going to unthread and we're going to move on. Where did that white end up? I think I want to keep the white where it was. I'm going to take the yellow out because I don't want to do yellow, because I'm going to work on these 4th of Julys next. So I have 3 4th of Julys. That was a great frame right there. So we have this one. We have this one. And we have this one. So those are the 3 postcards. I can't count. Those are the 3 postcards that I'm going to be working on next. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all my thread out. I say I'm going to pull all my thread out, and then it stops for some reason. Maybe that's why I was getting bad loops. It's acting like it's stuck. There we go. Let's pull all that out. Where are we at? 207. All right. All right. Stop it. Grab some more white. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Teresa. They're pretty fun. I love making postcards with scraps. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's put this in again. the green in. Make sure it's through the tension discs. Oh, maybe that was the problem. Maybe I didn't end up getting it through the tension discs like I thought I did. That may have been it right there. Sergers are wonderful machines. They are a bit finicky though. If you don't do one thing that they think you should do, they're like, no. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. Flip this over. It's the other great thing about this machine. I have the automatic threader on it, and I just choose which color I'm working with. So when I say which color, all my pathways, again, are color coded, so I know which one is which, and I can just go in and switch the machine, the little selector. I can choose if I'm going on the green path or if I'm going on the yellow path. That's in there, good. Pull it down, use my air threader to grab it. There it is. And oops, how did you get up there? There you go. And then I'm going to go with the red through here. And then the red goes through. I wish I could show this to you. It is so much fun. If you didn't catch my unboxing, I showed this in the unboxing, but it is so freaking cool the way the air threading technology works for Bernina. It's so magical. It really is magical. Makes it a whole lot easier. All right, we'll see if it works. I'm gonna do just a regular piece of material at the moment. Woo! That works really well. Okay, that worked. Let's see if we can do it on the postcard now. Oh, this is going to be a fun one if it works the way I want it to. If it does what I want it to do, let's see. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it just needed to be that, well, now my loops are all over the place again. What is going on? Yeah, my loops are like, ha-ha! It worked fine on the fabric, but it says no. And then my red. So this is what it gave me. Focus. So you see all of that loops up at the top. It's giving me extra loops for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but yep, always good to test on a scrap. I did, and then it still said, no, I don't want to do that. And I don't know why. Don't know why. It's a little better. I don't know. Thank goodness this isn't like some amazing thing that's like has to be perfect. Because it is acting real strange. It did fine on the material. That's the funny part, is it did like really well actually on the fabric. I guess it just doesn't like the thicker material. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? See what happens if I do this. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason that I can figure out. That's the other bad thing about sergers is like you just never know sometimes. Try sewing with the fabric up. The problem with that is it doesn't grab the feed dogs. The feed dogs don't grab the paper, so it like slips as it's going through. Oh, and I forgot to trim that. That's all right. That's all right. Meh. It's fine. It's fine. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. My first ones were great, and then all of a sudden it's just like, no, I don't want to do that. And like I said, the fabric swatch worked amazingly, but there is our... It might be the stitching on the paper. It could be. That's very interesting, Auntie L. It's interesting that it works better going faster. All right, I'm going to try one with the paper side, paper side down. We're going to see. It doesn't like that. Yeah, it doesn't like doing that. Doesn't like doing that at all. It really did not like doing that. I didn't even get all the way through. All right, paper side up, always. It did not like that at all. Oh well, you know, this is all about experimenting and finding out. Stab it. MJ was making a sunflower block yesterday and turned out interesting. I finally decided that since flowers are individual and irregular in nature, my block was mimicking nature. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, this one's coming out real interesting. And that's the only thing that I don't like about sergers is like, a lot of times you can't figure out a rhyme or a reason. And so you're like, why are you acting like that? And the serger says, I don't know. And you're like, but you just did it fine over here. And it's like, oh. And you're like, but, and it's like, oh. You know? Where's my thread? Make sure your thread is going through all the tension discs. They are. It is. I just checked. It is going through all the tension discs. Yep, 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 yep. It's going through all the tension discs. I don't know what happened that time. I can't tell because I had already run over that edge already, so I can't tell what was going on. So let's go with a clean edge and see what happens. It might be that my needles, like this dulls the needle so quickly that it doesn't want to work anymore, you know? That may be what's happening. How did you come unthreaded? Literally, one of my threads came unthreaded, but it like nothing broke. So weird. So weird. Maybe I'll stick with doing it on the machine. The first one worked fine. First one worked absolutely fine, and now this other one is like, I don't think so. I don't think I want to work today, thanks. Oops. No, 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 no. Don't unthread. Don't unthread. And I unthreaded it. Yeah, my needles might be dull. That may be the problem here, is that I may have dull needles, and that is causing the issue. All right, yes, the presser foot needs to be down. I tell you, it's magic. It happens to me all the time. It's so weird. It's so weird how it's perfectly fine one moment and then all of a sudden it's unthreaded the next. And you're like, but how? How did you do that? That one wasn't horrible. My red is still doing weird things, but it honestly wasn't horrible. So I'm going to chalk this up to the needles are getting dull, and that's what's happening. That's what I'm going to blame. I'm going to say that the needles are, because I've been going through the paper, it's making them dull, which is making them not work the way they're supposed to. That's what I'm going to say is happening. It still completes the mission of holding together this postcard and like not letting the pieces come out of it. Like it still succeeds in that. I might have to use a little fray check every now and again on here, but it's a postcard. Nobody cares. And honestly, it looks pretty good. It looks okay. There's a couple of spots that are a little wonky, but I'm not like mad at it. And again, it's a postcard. Who cares? This is not going to go into a show. This is not going to be an award-winning quilt or anything like that. And that's fine with me. So here is our second one. So that's what it looks like. And the back side has the blue. Use a larger needle. That may be the trick. Could be. That one wasn't horrible. That wasn't horrible. I can deal with that. So if you do end up using your serger to do postcards, just experiment. See what works, see what doesn't. See what drives you insane, what doesn't. It's fine. This is fine. See, that wasn't horrible. That was actually pretty good. I don't know. No rhyme or reason. Feels like sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, what you doing? What you doing? Very cool. I'm going to have to go watch how to make your postcards. Absolutely. It's a fun video in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Oh, well. I am going to switch to all white next because I want these last two we got 2 more postcards to do, and I want them to be in all white. So I'm going to switch. You know, something else that might be the different threads may have different weights, even though they feel the same and look the same. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that. I meant to show that to y'all. Even though that they are the same, it might be the different colors are affecting how it works. And even when I do this on my regular sewing machine, I don't get perfect results. I end up getting some weird spots where it ends up like skipping a stitch or, you know, whatever. So it's not always, whatever. Even on the sewing machine, like I'll have weird places sometimes, and that's okay, it happens. It happens. Yeah, this is not making me want to run out and get a serger. Totally understand. I'm doing something with it that most people won't, just FYI. So don't freak out. I'm pushing my machine to the edge of what it should be doing, so don't freak out. Don't freak out. Mama Harden says your needles are dull. Yeah, it's probably honestly what the real reason about what's going on is, that the needle is dull. And that is probably very true. That's probably exactly what's happening. But I push my machines to the edge. Push them to the edge of what they can do. Uh-oh, did I piss off so many people that they ran away? I just looked at the viewer count right now, and we're at 77 people. And usually my lives are bringing in about 100 people. So maybe so many people were cringing that they decided to stop watching. Push needles and rotary. Yep, right? Exactly. As far as they'll go. Oops. Oh. Come on. Almost there. I have a serger in the closet. It's been there for 7 years. I'm terrified of breaking it. It was my best friend's mom's machine. So yeah, when I got my first serger, I got it for $1. I won it in a silent auction for $1. And was I terrified to mess it up? Absolutely. Did I push along anyways? Absolutely, because literally I spent $1 on it. So, you know, if I messed it up, who cares? Like, it's not that big of a deal because I got it for $1. And if I ended up breaking it, then so be it. So, in my opinion, I think the best way to honor your friend's mom is to use it and not, be gentle, of course. Don't try to sew concrete with it. But, like, it's okay that you are working with it. And, my personal opinion, I used to do Cricut stuff all the time. And, like, ladies would put into these group chats saying, like, oh, I got a Cricut for Christmas, but I'm too afraid to do anything with it because I'm going to break it. And it's like a machine in the box isn't going to do you a lot of good. And I would be like, no, take it out, use it, do the things that you would do with it. And, don't be stupid with it. Don't try to cut concrete or cut glass or, push it to that extreme. But, it's okay to try it and use it. And I can't tell you how many times I almost bent the bar on my Cricut machine because I forgot to move the star wheels all the way off to the side. And so the material would go in and it would be too thick and the bar would try to break. And I'm like, oops, my bad. So, yeah, Shelly says it exactly right. Don't be afraid of it. Get it out and you just work with it. Absolutely. MJ says, you're very edgy, Ian. I love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. So Terry says, still here. Awesome. Thank you. I brought some people back apparently because I have 82 in here now. See if you could take a class at your local sewing dealer. I did take one class and, I'm so new to it. I didn't know what questions to ask, So, yeah, I didn't know what questions to ask or even how to ask them or any of that. So I could easily go back to my Bernina store and say, hey, I have a couple of questions. And they would more than likely be happy to answer all the questions that I have. In fact, they told me, if you have any questions, let us know what they are. So I could absolutely go back to my Bernina dealer and say, hey, can you help me with this? And they're going to help me. Because they're awesome like that. Let's say, which one is that? That is red and blue. I think it's my red. Let's just put it there and see what happens. Put it there and see what happens. Ian, just a thought, take a large eye needle and weave the tails back through the... Yes, you can do that. Absolutely, Stephanie. So Terry says, I love using my serger. Nothing serves if you leave it in the box. Absolutely. Hey! I got it. I finally fixed it. It took a little experimentation, but I finally got an edge that I'm happy with. It does pull one of the lower loopers down a little bit, but that edge looks a lot cleaner than this edge. So I'm going to keep it there. I'm okay with that. Like, the lower looper is getting pulled a little more than it should, but I'm actually happy with it. Let's see. Oh, is Adam in the chat somewhere? Did I miss Adam? Hey there, welcome. I do have a Bernina, but I don't have, I do have a Bernina, but I don't have a quilting machine. I take my quilts over to my quilter. She has a Bernina quilter, the Q24 is what she has. And so anytime I'm using, if I'm gonna work with a quilting machine, it's gonna be hers, the Q24. Oh, interesting. Okay. Shelly has one that does the cover stitch, which I do not have. And one of my threads just broke. I lost one of my upper threads, broke. This has been a fun live, right, guys? I've got one more postcard to go, and then I think I'm going to call it the day. 'Cause I need some lunch. I've yet to have lunch. See, that looks a lot better. Oh, I was about to say, I was like, Adam is... Sometimes Adam will pop into the chat while I'm live. So I was like, oh, is Adam here? I missed him. Didn't realize you were talking to me. No worries. Come on, get around there. There we go. Do. I think after today, I will make sure to change my needles. And actually before I put my machine up this afternoon, I think that's what I'm gonna change the needles just to make sure when I start off next time, it is fresh and good to go and I don't have to worry about it. Carol says, I only use my serger for finishing raw edges before pre-washing fabrics for quilts. The seam allowance guide is useless, so sewing clothing seems to be impossible. I have an attached one, so I can actually attach mine where I need it to go. Zandra says, right now I do not have a long arm. I do my quilting on my brother's sewing machine. I have done some sewing on some quilting on my machine before. Oof, it is rough. It is rough. I always like to do mine on a long arm because it's so much easier. So much easier. Okay, I like that. I like that much better. Lily says, even though you're struggling, it's been good to see you work through the problems. Thank you. I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I get machine problems all the time. And you're watching me work through the process as we're talking. So, YouTubers are just the same. We have all the same problems that y'all do. We just happen to have a camera interface working whenever they're working with them. But like I said, even on my sewing machine, I would have areas where like it would skip a stitch, or, you know, it wouldn't be what I would want it to be. So, you know, these things happen. But yeah, I definitely think I'm going to change my needle just to make sure that I have a crisp needle to go in there when I start my next project. Okay, I'm done. I'm going to trim these off, and then I'm going to show all of you. It's still bright and sunny outside, not a cloud in the sky, and they were like, oh, it's a level 2 or even level 3 severe weather, enhanced weather risk today, and I'm like, where? All right, here is our next and final one. Look at that. Look how pretty that looks. I love that. Oh, it's upside down. There we go. What do you think, guys? I like it. I think it looks good. And then on the back, you can't see. It's white on white, so you can't really see it. All right, there we go. So today we worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 postcards. We made 9 different postcards today, finished them out. We experimented with using the serger to see what happens when we use a serger. The first ones came out great, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. I don't know. It was a good experiment. Would I stick with doing the serger instead of the sewing machine? I might actually still stick with the serger, even though it gave me all the problems today, because I was able to complete these a lot faster. Yes, I did stop a lot. Talking to the camera does slow me down, and so I end up taking some time talking to the camera, and I could probably have had these done in about an hour if I had. We're going on an hour and 30. So if I had done it in about an hour, probably would have worked just fine. So, oops. Oh, man. So, there we go. That's all we're going to do today. I hope you enjoyed sitting around and experimenting with me. Susie says, I rarely change my needles unless they break, simply because I cannot see the hole that the needle goes into. So I bought myself a little dental mirror. Oh. To see the hole where the needle... Oh, that's a good idea. Carol loves the big flower. I do too. This was a piece of scrap material, and it works so well on here. MJ says, this was fun and very real world. I enjoyed it. I'm so glad. Let's talk about next weekend. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next weekend. I do know where I will be next weekend, but I don't know what I'm doing yet. So as many of you know, I'm going to be visiting Becca next weekend. So I don't know if I'm going to be live. I need to talk with her and figure out if we're going to be live, if we're going to be running around, what we're going to be doing. So just make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. That way, if I decide to go live on Sunday, you'll get that notification pushed to your phone or mobile device. Make sure that your device has the notifications turned on as well, because you can say, yes, I want those notifications, but if the notifications are turned off, you won't get them on your device. So make sure that those are all turned on. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button down below, and then click the bell notification icon. We're going to see what happens next weekend, and it also depends on if I end up falling down the stairs again. Could happen. Could be. I don't know. It is going to be lots of fun, and I can't wait to spend time with Becca, and you will definitely, I think, see me on her channel Friday. She mentioned that I was going to be there on her channel on Friday, so hopefully I will make an appearance on her channel. We'll see. I never want to pressure her. I always want her to do what she wants to do, and if I'm a part of that, I'm happy about that, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, no false, please. All right, I think that's gonna do it for today's video or live stream. That's what I meant to say. I hope everybody has a good rest of your week. And we will hopefully see you next Sunday. But if not, I'll be back very soon. And let's see, we're coming up at the end of the month already, which I'm just like, how are we almost to July? And July, of course, means that I'm going to be out in Oregon for the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Festival. I've got to get my quilt ready to send off to that. So I need to do some cleaning. I think that's what's going to be happening the rest of the afternoon is I need to do some cleaning around the apartment and get ready for all my trips and do all of the things. Anyways, I am rambling. I hope everybody has a great day. And remember, guys, normal is just a setting on the dryer. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.